Today we're going to make a really simple game in GameMaker Studio, and we're going to try to answer the question, what makes a game fun? Simple question, probably a somewhat complicated answer, but we're going to give it a shot. We're actually going to do this in iterations. We'll start with something really simple, and then we'll kind of add in pieces to it to add the fun, so to speak. And so I'm going to switch over and show my screen. And this is going to be kind of a one-take recording. I might clean it up a little bit, but there may be some interruptions. Sorry about that. But bear with me, and we'll get through this. So we're in GameMaker Studio 2, doing this on the Mac. Usually I do it on Windows, but that's okay. I'm going to go with GameMaker language. You could use drag and drop as well if you want to. So we will call this experiment. I'm going to call it the experiment game. And so if you think back to games you've played, depending on how old you are, you may have played some really old simple games, right? Like Pong on the Atari, which was two moving bats and a ball going in between. Let's start with something. Let's start with something simple. So we're gonna have a player, and we're gonna have a player. Okay, and our player is gonna be a big green circle, because we don't even know what this game's going to be yet, so we don't want to put too much time into it, right? We'll call him sprite player, and we're going to set this guy right here. What do you think of that? Decent enough. And we're going to drop this dude into the middle right here, and if I run this, it doesn't do anything yet. It's just a blob on the screen. What do we want to do? Well, I would like to be able to move it with a keyboard, and I would also like to have a goal in the game, right? Because every game, the goal is obviously win the game. So let's put something real simple in here. So let's duplicate this guy, and we'll have another one called object goal, and we're going to duplicate this, and we're just keeping this real simple, right? Come into here, edit the image. Let's fill this thing in with a dark gray, and then we'll get a real nice yellow, because everybody loves yellow. And we'll try to sort of thicken this up a little bit. It looks a little bit funky. I'm not going to mess with it too much, okay? Because I don't want to waste my time on it. All right, sprites. So here's the goal. So object goal, we'll put this here. And we have this object player, right? Let's add some controls in. So in GameMaker Studio, you can do a keyboard check. So for example, if I do keyboard check VK left, if I'm pushing the left key, that will give me a 1, and if I'm not, it will give me a 0, effectively true or false. And I think really what we want to do is we want to say, if we're pressing the right key, do that, and then -1 if it's left. That should take care of the movements. And then Y, to go down, would be to add. And obviously the other way around for up and down. Okay, so this should allow us to move. Let's see if this is the case. And like I said, we're going to iterate through this and just kind of experiment, okay? And I've got to use the cursor keys. Oh yeah, there he goes. It's probably the slowest moving circle ever. But you know, the goal is that we're going to get across the screen. Oh my god, it's taking forever. And we hit it, and then we're good. Okay, sweet. So let's speed this up a little bit, right? Because that's a bit slow. We'll take the whole thing and multiply it by 5. Okay, just to speed it up. So it's going to be 5 times as fast as what it was. And also, in the object goal, let's add a collision. If this collides with object player, instance destroy. Instance destroy is just going to destroy the goal. For now, we'll say that means we've won, okay? Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. Okay, so now we have it so that we can move this thing, and we can get to the goal. Maybe, yep, there we go. It's a lot quicker, and we hit the goal and it's gone. Okay, not much of a game, but you know, we have controls. We are controlling something, so instantly you feel as though you're in charge of what's going on, and when you hit the goal, it disappears. That's cool. I like it. What if instead of destroying this, what if we move it So we're just going to set it to a random range. And I'm picking just the screen height and width in this case. So now every time I hit it, we're going to move it into a new location. So we come across and boom. Okay, so we just added a new aspect into here, right? It's still kind of boring though. It's still kind of boring because there's not a whole lot of skill to this, right? I can do this for a little bit, and as the creator, I'm enjoying this, right? Because I'm like, I made this. But as a player, this is going to be very, very short-lived. This is like whack-a-mole, right? It's sort of like a 30-second thing that I've done this now 20 times and I'm very bored. So there needs to be more than just this. And let's go with whack-a-mole, right? In whack-a-mole, you have to get to these things quickly enough, because if you don't get to them quickly enough, the little mole goes back in. And so why don't we replicate that? So in our object goal, we're gonna have a countdown, and essentially, as if we hit 0 on the countdown, we're just going to move the goal to a new location real quick, right? So time left, we'll do this. Time left equals 300. Okay, so 300. Why 300? I'll make this easier. 60 times 5. There's 60 frames per second, and we're going to use 5 seconds. So we're going to say that we have 300 frames effectively left. And in the step event of the goal, we want to say time left minus. So that means we're decreasing time left by 1. Now, if time left is less than 0, let's move it. Oh dear, that's not what I wanted. Let's move the thing, right? Just like that, and we'll reset time left to 300. And then obviously right here we'll have to do the same thing, because we want that timer to reset if we actually hit it. So always save. Now let's run it and see what happens. So I'm heading towards it. I have 5 seconds, but if I don't get there, it moves, right? So now it's a little more complicated. You got to get there in time. Still not adding a whole lot. We obviously need to add some more. What more can we add? You want to add things to a game that bring out emotions, right? So the reason that this is more fun than the previous iteration is because there is a feeling of being rushed, a feeling of urgency, but there's not much beyond that, right? What more could we add to this? We could add something to dodge. Let's try that. Object. What shall we call it? I can't even think. We're just going to call it a brick because I can't think of anything else. So we'll make a new sprite for that. And this one's going to be sprite brick. We're going to make this a little bit smaller, right? Like this. Yep. And this one's just going to be... It's going to be a red square. There we go. Because that looks like a brick, right? Here, we'll get a little more creative. Let's put some orange in the middle of it. I like it. Okay. So we're going to throw some bricks on the screen. Okay. You got to dodge these, right? If you hit a brick, what are we going to do? In fact, let's do this here. Object player. If I collide with a brick, instance destroy. I'm going to kill myself. Not literally. I'm going to kill the player if we collide with a brick. Should we test it? See if it works. Oh, I win and I lose. A little more risky, right? So this kind of adds something to it, because now instead of just focusing on whacking the mole, right? We added the next step, which was, oh, the mole moves if you don't get there. And now we've added something else for the player to focus on, which is don't die. So you've got this anxious, rushing feeling of I've got to get to the goal, and you've also got this like skill where you've got to navigate these bricks. If we want to add something just a little bit more to this, we could go to the brick, add a step. Let's make the bricks move and wrap on the screen. Basically, these bricks are now going to be falling. I think, you know what, when the brick goes off the screen, let's also give it a new X coordinate. I'm probably going to die straight away. Oh boy. So you can see, straight away I can tell you that this has given me a lot more to focus on. Like, I wanna hit stuff, but now it's like, whoo, and I died. It's a lot more fun because it requires more skill. Now, a lot of games obviously have levels, and so you could implement a level system into this very easily by keeping track of the score and then basing the speed of the bricks on the score. So, for example, right here. Okay, so whenever I hit the goal, we want to increase the score of the player, right? Oh, interesting. Well, let's call it points because that's not taken by anything. I have to also make this variable over here, and also we're gonna just make it so that we can actually. Right, so we got the points up there. We're gonna try to get down to this crazy circle. Check that out. Right, so now it's actually working. It's perfect. So you can see how this is going, right? So now with the bricks, and so right now their speed is 5 pixels per frame, so they're going pretty quickly, right? Basically, I want the speed of the brick to be based on the number of points that you've gotten so far. Okay, yeah. So here we go. So now the bricks are really slow, right? I'm gonna get one. Oh, look at that. So now, as I get more and more points, it expects me, ooh boy, it expects me to be better and better. And you can see this is starting to get a little ridiculous. Oh, shoot. I'm dead. Oh, well, I killed it. That's okay. But anyway, the point of this video is to show a basic demonstration that there are different things that you can add to something really simple to make it a lot more fun. And so there are other aspects, like if you think of the older Super Mario games where you had a lot of aspects to a level, but one important part of each level was the timer. You know, you had a certain amount of time to complete the level, and halfway through the level, maybe 2/3 of the way through, suddenly there's that recognizable sound where it's like do 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 do, and the music speeds up, and you know you've only got 100 seconds of time left to actually complete the level, and suddenly you feel rushed. There's a level of anxiety that it's inducing. Great games really pull on our emotions, and they develop skills. And I think that a lot of mobile games where they sort of use that to their advantage to take your money. I don't like the way those games work. I like games that really give you an immersive experience. And you can see just with this basic less than 20 minutes worth of messing with code that a simple sprite moving on the screen can suddenly become much more entertaining and much more immersive for the player. So that's it for now. I don't want to make this video too long, and it should end up less than 20 minutes once I've ended up splicing it. But yeah, you know, if you have any thoughts on this, I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Like, what do you think the best aspects of games that you've played are? Like, for me, I really love games that involve management of resources. I like games that involve solving puzzles, like or like puzzles in a story, like Monkey Island. I really like those kinds of games. And then sometimes just repetitive games like Call of Duty Zombies. Like, I like that too. Especially like games that allow you to cooperate with other players. Anyway, yeah. So feel free to leave a comment on what you think makes a good game. And yeah, until next time, that's all I've got for you. All right, see ya.